everybody, what's up? It's Neil, and today we're gonna remedy the sunken exhaust tips on the GR86. Now the US spec cars, for some reason, the exhaust tips are kind of more sunken in towards the middle of the car. What I'm talking about is right here. Don't mind Zan, he's just my little trinket. If you guys know who Zan is, he was one of the Wonder Twins in the Super Friends. He always formed of a bucket of water.
Form of water!
But the way these exhaust tips, how they're kind of sunken in. Here's another view from the top side. It shows how the exhaust tips are kind of sunken in. What I want to do is I want to push them out a little bit. So the way I'm going to remedy that is by putting these extensions on that I picked up on eBay, which took like 3 weeks to get here, and they got shipped from China. And I'll explain why I went the eBay route and not the O'Reilly route in a second. When I was doing my research on this modification, people were referring to this Oscar mod, which you can basically go to O'Reilly and buy some 4-inch extenders there and some of the hose clamps. I'll show you why I didn't go that route. The main reason is because there's a little nub on this stock mufflers, which prevented the O'Reilly tips from fitting well. I'm hoping these tips will remedy that because they have these little cuts in them, hoping that the little divot in the exhaust will fit in these little cutouts and make it a little more flush. Also, another reason was because I didn't like the exhaust clamps that you get at O'Reilly's or any other store, so the ones that I picked up are just a single bolt, and they just look a lot cleaner. In addition to pushing the exhaust tips out, I'm also gonna spray paint them black. So right now I'm just in the process of sanding the exhaust tips. I have one already sanded, good to go, before I start painting it. But I'm gonna go ahead and sand this. I'm using 220 grit sandpaper, and yeah, I'm just gonna sand away. So FYI, these little adapters were kind of hard to fit on the stock muffler, and it was because of every time where these little cuts were, they had a little overhang. There's like a little overhang like on the inside, so if you can see, I ended up sanding down the area there. Here's the other one. And they fit much nicer. Before, I had a hard time like getting them to fit, and I think it was just because of that extra material. So like after sanding it down, like they slide on nice and easy. Like before, I had to literally like I got it stuck halfway, and I did literally like hammer it off with a chisel. Alright, so we are done painting after a couple iterations. At one point, I had to sand these all the way back down to the metal because I bought a can of spray paint. It wasn't the same color as the paint I started with, and so I ended up taking 100 grit sandpaper and sanding it all the way back down to the metal, which kind of worked out because what happened was I ended up sanding the ring around one of the tips, and then I ended up just taping it off or masking it off and then painting it with the color that it is today. Because I did sand it and brought it down to the metal, in the sunlight it kind of has like a little bit of like a brushed aluminum look, so sort of like a gloss black metallic brushed aluminum look, but I think it'll look cool on the car. So let's go ahead to installing. Putting the extension on. All right, that's tight. That ain't moving. Let's put the other one on. All right, both extensions are on. Now let's put the tips on. Overall, pretty straightforward. And no, I don't want to buy a new exhaust. I don't want noise. I don't want to make it any louder. I just wanted something a little more unique, and I just wanted to push the exhaust tips further out. I didn't want to buy the TRD exhaust tips. I know they sell those, but those are gonna be like 300 bucks. And honestly, these are so easy to take on and off. I was afraid of somebody stealing them. So these will look good enough, I hope. Let's see, is it straight? Is it even? All right, and that's gonna do it for this quick and easy mod. I'm quite pleased with the way it turned out. It satisfied everything that I needed to do. I wanted to push out the exhaust tips closer to the bumper. I wanted to paint them black. I didn't want to have to buy a brand new exhaust. I didn't want to have to buy any new parts. This is a great little project for the DIYer in you. Hopefully it helps any of you if you thought about doing something similar. I hope this helped. If you made it this far, thanks for watching, and we will see you in the next one. Bye.